You up, Pop?
Ready.
There you go up. In this week's episode of Then and Now, we're going to look at the evolution of the assault rifle, from the Sturmgewehr to the SCAR.
We're going to use a real-world scenario to examine the capabilities of the modern-day assault rifle.
After facing the Sturmgewehr on the Eastern Front, the Russians developed their own assault rifle, the AK-47.
The Sturmgewehr, although at the time of its development was a marvel in engineering, featured really crude sights that were difficult to use to engage targets at greater distance. The Sturmgewehr was one of the early weapons that incorporated a paddle-style safety. This made it very easy to use in urban environments.
In this scenario, since Aaron and I are going to take a left turn, I want to switch shoulders to my right side shoulder in order to clear this corner. However, you notice the sling is nothing more than a carrying strap and not a tactical sling. Common with older weapons, it's virtually worthless in combat situations. Moving. Move.
Another feature that the Sturmgewehr incorporated early on was a dust cover. This kept grit and grime out of the action when they were operating in a dirty environment.
In urban combat, most soldiers just bypass the AK safety altogether since it's stiff and difficult to use.
An inline operating system makes a weapon very controllable to shoot. The Sturmgewehr has this in spades. I tell you, after a running gunfight like this, that sheet metal handguard gets hot.
Although it lacks refinements, the AK takes a beating and keeps on running. It's easy to see why it's so popular all over the world.
Ten unmarked vehicles were on the lookout for two men suspected of carrying out several violent bank robberies and believed to be driving a 1979 Monte Carlo. Spotting the vehicle on the morning of April 11, 1986, an FBI agent used his vehicle to force the suspect's car off the road and into a tree. With the suspects trapped between the tree and several parked cars, and partially surrounded by 4 FBI vehicles, the agents felt the situation was well in hand. However, the agents soon found themselves in a fight for their lives.
When Platt and Maddox's vehicle came to rest, and the agents started receiving fire, first from a shotgun, which at these distances would be extremely devastating, then from a rifle chambered in .223, which had the ability to penetrate the vehicles that the agents were in. At this point, the agents knew they were outgunned. If I were involved in this gunfight, there'd be 3 key points that I would have to factor in choosing a weapon. Number 1, reliability. I need the weapon to go bang when I want it to go bang. Number 2, capacity. I want as many rounds in that weapon as possible. And number 3, I need a caliber that's going to penetrate a vehicle. In this week's episode of Choose Your Weapon, your choices are: number 1, the Mini 14, which one of the assailants was using. Number 2, the MP5, world famous submachine gun. And number 3, the 870 shotgun, which was already very prolific in law enforcement circles.
This 870 shotgun with proper ammunition like buckshot or slugs at close range would be a very lethal combination.
The 870 would be an excellent choice in a close-range gunfight like this. Its major drawback is that it's not easily maneuverable around a vehicle.
The legendary MP5 would be a good choice in this particular scenario. Accurate and reliable, it's also very easy to maneuver in and around vehicles.
The MP5 is an excellent weapon. The big problem with it is that it's truly nothing more than a large, select-fire 9mm pistol, and it didn't have the ability to defeat body armor if it needed to, or penetrate a vehicle. If I were in the Miami shootout, the weapon I would choose would be the Mini 14. It's got good capacity with either 20 or 30 round magazines, it's accurate and reliable, plus it's a rifle caliber. And even though it's about the same size as the 870, I'll take the rifle caliber over a shotgun any day of the week. That's why I would have chosen the rifle caliber. It gets the job done.
One of the most useful features of the M4 is the retractable stock. It makes it more compact. However, unlike more modern designs, the stock does not fold.
The original M16 has a fixed stock. It's also much longer, which makes it less maneuverable. The original M16 does not have an integral case deflector, which means that left-handers get hit in the face with brass.
However, the M4 has a triangular case deflector built right in.
The M16 features a dust cover, which it copied from the Sturmgewehr. It helps keep dirt and debris out of the action when not being fired.
The M4 with proper training is an easy weapon to use from either shoulder. However, it was not purposely designed for this task, unlike modern assault rifles. Moving. The flat top receiver design of the M4 makes it extremely easy to mount optics, enhancing its effectiveness across all ranges.
The M16 is the poster child for controllability when firing. This is due to its inline operating system. The M16 was a watershed in design, but one thing that designers kind of dropped the ball on was not hard chroming the bore and the chamber. This led to serious initial problems in Vietnam.
Although not initially designed to be modular, the M4 has adapted well to the task, and now there's a full range of accessories available for it on the market.
The quest for increasing firepower led to the design of a 30-round magazine, because this 20-round magazine might just leave you hanging in a long gunfight.
The M4 is a great assault rifle, although not perfect. For instance, it has a gas system that has been proven to be less than ideal. However, with improvements, it is certainly the world standard in assault rifles today. The submachine gun was a major innovation in the early 20th century, with advancements in magazine capacity, ease of use, and lethality at short range.
Their development was driven by the demands of trench warfare during World War I. In this episode of Turning Point, we'll look at the evolution of submachine guns in 3 countries: Germany, Britain, and the United States.
It's interesting that all 3 countries experienced similar design difficulties in the quest to simplify their particular submachine guns for wartime use.
Let's examine some of the more interesting aspects in the evolution of the submachine gun.
The first true submachine gun was the MP-18, introduced in 1918 by the German Army and used in World War I. The Allies were so terrified by this new type of weapon, they banned further German development, specifically in the Treaty of Versailles.
However, countries like Japan, China, France, and Austria were so intrigued by the possibilities of a weapon like this that they began to copy and improve the MP-18.
The Germans bought a Swiss arms company to continue development of the submachine gun in secret. These design and prototype efforts led to the MP-28 and the MP-34.
At the same time, the Americans were developing their own submachine gun, and immediately following the war, it was finally put into production, becoming the Thompson 1921. It was officially adopted by the U.S. military in 1938.
The British, however, failed to realize that the submachine gun was truly a turning point in military small arms. And it was only in 1940, at the beginning of World War II, when they scrambled to copy the German MP-28 and put it into production as the Lanchester. As Europe moved towards war in the late 1930s, the manufacturing of the submachine gun, led by Germany, changed dramatically. With a shift towards plastic and the use of stamped metal, the Germans manufactured the MP-40, a very simple weapon that was very controllable and easy to use.
The grease gun and the Thompson M1 and M1A1 were the American equivalents to the German MP-40 and the Sten gun. But you know, Larry, by any other country's standards, the Thompson is an extremely lavish gun.
You're absolutely right, Aaron. With the wood furniture and the forged and machined steel components, no other country in wartime could afford to make that weapon but the United States.
Although the Thompson submachine gun was quite heavy, it had a reputation for being extremely durable and reliable.
The last major step in the evolution of the submachine gun led to the post-war development of the British Sterling.
At roughly the same time, the Germans were creating the MP5, which many consider to be the ultimate in submachine guns, primarily for its accuracy and its controllability under fire. It became the weapon of choice for many special operations units around the world, and it's still widely used today.
You know, Aaron, what's interesting is after the grease gun, the Americans stopped pursuing the perfected submachine gun, and they too embraced the MP5. The submachine gun was a turning point in the history of military small arms. They dramatically improved effectiveness in close-range engagements. However, today the sun is setting on the submachine gun. They're being widely replaced by shortened assault rifles like the M4.
One of the greatest attributes of the SCAR is that it has a stock that both folds and adjusts.
This is the G36, a 5.56 modern assault rifle that has a stock that folds to the right.
Because of the SCAR's design, it's incredibly easy to shoot even in awkward positions.
The G36 features a dual optic with a red dot on top and a magnified optic down below.
Modern assault rifles like these are designed to be easily maneuverable in tight quarters.
Modern assault rifles like the G36 are also designed to be just as easy for a left-hander to use as a right-hander.
Unlike the M4, the SCAR was designed from the ground up to be modular so that it could do multiple missions.
The G36 is a very lightweight assault rifle, largely due to the extensive use of plastics in its construction.
One of the design features of the SCAR that makes it truly helpful is the fact that it's designed to be self-sealing, which keeps dirt and debris out of the action when not being fired.
One of the advantages the G36 has is you can couple more than one magazine together, which makes reloads very quick.
You know, the primary purpose of an assault rifle is to engage targets from about arm's distance out to 300 yards. And the Sturmgewehr did exactly that.
You're right. So when other nations adopted the assault rifle concept, they focused on refinements such as optics, operating mechanisms, burst fire, and other things to bring the gun to where it is today.
So now we have the SCAR, which has got all those great features, you know, but the big one being how modular it is.
As we've seen today with all the weapons that we presented, they all had their strengths, but they all had some weaknesses.